I think it's more. I think even think it's the striking on the feet. I think it's easier than Bilal because he's more just he'll stay in one stance. He's more traditional style.
Della Maddalena is bigger. He showed that he can stop takedowns. On the feet, there's absolutely no question. Della Maddalena is on another level. He's probably got the best, cleanest boxing in the UFC. It wouldn't surprise me if we see an upset here and Della Maddalena is still the champion at the end of the day.
Jack Della Maddalena is set to defend his belt against Islam Makhachev at UFC 322. But he shocked fans by claiming that Bilal's striking is actually more dangerous than Islam's and that he'll have no trouble beating Makhachev. In a recent interview, Della Maddalena explained that Islam's striking is easier to deal with compared to Bilal Muhammad's. He said Islam tends to stay in one stance with a more traditional style, which makes him predictable. Still, Jack admitted Islam is the pound-for-pound #1 and acknowledged the challenge ahead. He added that the plan is to study Islam closely, build a solid game plan, and prepare every way possible. I think Islam is like a better version of Bilal, but his striking on the feet is easier to deal with. He stays in one stance, fights very traditionally. Of course, he's the pound-for-pound #1, so it's a tough fight, but I'll be watching his fights, working on ways to beat him, how to get back to my feet, defend the takedown. I'm confident I can get it done.
I mean, it's just... I think Islam Makhachev is a better version of Bilal. I think his striking on the feet is. I think it's more. I think even think it's the striking on the feet. I think it's easier than Bilal because he's more just he'll stay in one stance. He's more traditional style. But yeah, he's the pound for pound #1. So it's a tough fight, but. Guess we'll just watch all his fights again, make a solid game plan, and then just start working at it. From pretty much now, I'm going to start working on ways to beat him, different ways to get back to my feet, stuff in the takedown, but I'm pretty confident I can get this one.
Islam's coach, Javier Mendez, reacted quickly to those comments, warning Jack not to underestimate Makhachev's striking. Mendez said if Jack goes in expecting an easy fight, he's in for a rude awakening. He reminded everyone that Islam has dominated strikers for over a decade, fighters with far better stand-up credentials than him, and still came out on top. If he believes Islam's stand-up is easy, I hope he really goes in there thinking that, because he'll find out a completely different story. Islam is not easy for anyone. I've watched him dominate strikers for 11 years, guys who were supposed to be way better on the feet, and he still destroyed them. Once you step inside that cage with him, it's a whole different ballgame.
JDM did an interview I think this week, and he broke down that he believes Islam's stand-up is a little bit easier to deal with than Bilal's because Islam has more of a traditional style for his stand-up. Do you feel like people are kind of missing some of the X factors that Islam brings with his striking?
If he's saying that, I hope that he goes in believing that, because when he gets in there with Islam, you're going to find out a whole different story because I'm sorry, they're completely different. And by no means is Islam an easy for anybody to understand. Any MMA fighter that's a striker, that's not going to have an easy time with him. I've been with this kid like going on 11 years of watching him just destroy everybody on the stand-up, guys that are much better stand-up than him, and he still destroys them. So no. Don't go by what you see. When you get in there with that man, it's a whole different ball.
Meanwhile, Jack's coach, Ben Vickers, expressed supreme confidence, claiming Islam won't be able to withstand Jack's power. Unlike Bilal Muhammad, he said, Islam doesn't have the same durability, and if Jack lands clean, it could end instantly, whether in the first minute or the championship rounds. Vickers praised Jack's mix of knockout power and elite cardio, making him a threat at every stage. I don't think Islam has the chin Bilal has. If Jack lands clean, it could be over in the first minute or the 24th minute. Jack loves long fights, but if the opening comes, we'll take it. His cardio is exceptional. Against Bilal, who supposedly had the best gas tank in the UFC, Jack out-cardioed him. Add knockout power to that, and you've got a dangerous mix.
I just don't think Islam has the chin that Bilal has.
You feel like it's a situation where this is going to be an eventual down the line, like third, fourth round? Or do you think people might even be shocked to see it happen earlier on?
we know for a fact if Jack clips someone clean on the chin, they can go over. So it could happen in the first minute, it could happen in the 24th minute, it could happen in the 24 minute 59 seconds, it could happen 3 rounds in. Jack likes long fights, you know, he likes to be in there, but obviously we're not getting paid for overtime, so if the opportunity arises, we're happy to take it. But Jack's cardio, as we saw, Bilal's reputedly the best like cardio in the UFC, and Jack out cardioed him. Bilal was more tired than Jack towards the end of the fight, so you know, Jack's cardio is exceptional, his power is exceptional, and yeah, I like the fight, I really do.
Vickers predicted Islam would avoid prolonged striking and instead push for the clinch or grappling exchanges early, even if just to wear Jack down. He expects Khabib's influence in the corner to push Islam toward frequent takedowns, though not recklessly. Islam isn't reckless, but he'll try to get his hands on Jack as soon as he can. He won't want to hang around on the feet, because that's Jack's world. I'm sure we'll hear Khabib in his corner telling him to shoot more. Still, Islam's composed, he won't panic, but the plan will be to drag Jack down.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you think it's straight away shooting in, establishing his wrestling, getting JDM up against the fence, or do you think he goes out there and actually tries to test his striking against you guys?
No, I don't think he's going to go out and try and test his striking, but I also don't think he's going to rush. You know what I mean? He's a very composed guy. He's a very high-level, skillful person. You know, he's not going to rush and be running at Jack's hips. You know, but he is going to try and get hold of Jack as quickly as possible, even if it's just to try and tire him out in the early parts of the fight and get him into his world quickly. He will take damage from Jack as Bilal did if he's on the feet. So I'm sure he's going to not want to be there for as long as possible. And we've all heard Khabib in the corner really like chastising Islam when he doesn't go for the takedown. So I definitely think that there's going to be a lot of input from Khabib in trying to get Islam to shoot the takedown often and early, but there's going to be no rush and no panic. I mean, this guy's cool, calm, collected, and composed, and he's a phenomenal fighter. So I think he's definitely going to go for takedowns early, but I don't think he's going to like charge in and try and get the hips at all costs. He backs himself on the feet. He's a decent striker, you know. So, but I do think his game plan is to put Jack on the ground.
Michael Bisping, however, sees real upset potential. He pointed out that Jack is the bigger man, has proven he can stop takedowns, and may just have the cleanest boxing in the UFC. He argued that Jack is on another level right now and shouldn't be overlooked. Jack's bigger, he's already shown he can stop takedowns, and his boxing is elite, probably the cleanest in the UFC. It wouldn't surprise me if he pulls off the upset at UFC 322 and keeps his belt.
So Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena, that has been announced, but I'll tell you what, Jack Della Maddalena is bigger. He showed that he can stop takedowns. On the feet, there's absolutely no question. Jack Della Maddalena is on another level. He's probably got the best, cleanest boxing in the UFC. It wouldn't surprise me if we see an upset here and Jack Della Maddalena is still the champion at the end of the day.
Bisping also criticized the betting odds, saying it was disrespectful to Jack. With an 18-fight win streak and a dominant win over Belal Muhammad, he believes Jack deserves more respect. Islam's a big favorite, and honestly, I find that a bit disrespectful to Jack. He's on an 18-fight win streak, he just beat Belal Muhammad, defended every takedown, and looked phenomenal. Islam's incredible, no doubt, but if he tries to stand with Jack, that could be a mistake.
It's an interesting fight because the crazy thing is that Islam Makhachev is quite a sizable favorite according to DraftKings, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure I saw that online earlier this morning. And I think that's a little bit disrespectful to Jack Della Maddalena. The man's on an 18-fight winning streak. He just beat Belal Muhammad. He defended all the takedowns there. He's beaten grapplers before in the past. Yes, Islam Makhachev is incredible, you know, and he'd be another contender for pound #1, greatest of all time, whatever you want to call it. But Belal Muhammad was a perfect warm-up fight for Islam Makhachev. And with the boxing of Jack, if Islam was to stand with him, that'd be a bad idea. with Jack's boxing and the footwork that is associated with boxing, that's going to help him. That's going to be very advantageous. He knows how to defend the takedown. He knows what he's doing off his back. He can get back to his feet. So yeah, I mean, I understand why Islam is a slight favorite, because he's tried and tested and the greatest lightweight fighter that the sport's ever seen. But don't be surprised if Jack Della Maddalena gets it done.
Colby Covington, though, sided with Islam. He acknowledged Jack's size, but argued Islam's well-rounded skill set gives him the edge. If Islam secures takedowns, he believes he can control the fight. Islam's moving up and will be the smaller guy, but he's so well-rounded. If he gets JDM down and controls him, that's his path to victory. The size difference is interesting, but I still lean Islam.
Islam versus JDM. What do you make of that? Islam moving up to now welterweight.
Yeah, it's an interesting fight. I'm excited to see how it goes. You know, Islam, is a lightweight. He's going to be a little smaller in the fight, but he's a well-rounded fighter. So, if he's able to take down JDM and control him, he could definitely get the job done. But it's going to be interesting to see how the size advantage plays a difference in the fight.
Who do you favor?
I mean, I seen the odds were pretty big. They favored Makhachev like 3-1. So I guess I got to go with the odds if they're going 3-1. But just because JDM doesn't have good takedown defense, but you never know. It's a fight, and JDM has some good hands, so it should be an exciting fight for the fans.
Robert Whitaker admitted he was surprised Islam vacated the lightweight belt, but when analyzing the matchup, he gave the edge to Jack. He said Jack's grit and striking could shine if he defends the takedowns, though he also warned Islam's kicks could be a big factor. I think Jack's got that X factor, the grit and determination to fight off takedowns and win the striking exchanges. Straight up, Jack is better on the feet, but Islam's kicks are dangerous. If Jack doesn't address that, he'll get chopped down. Still, I see Jack's resilience carrying him through.
What I think was unexpected was the relinquishing of the lightweight title.
They don't want to do it anymore. No one can be double champ technically anymore.
I expected it in a sense that because Topuria did it, people would have to follow suit. But Islam's kind of like the poster boy right now for the UFC in terms of like mega star sort of things, right? Yeah, I didn't see them doing that, but I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong, because I think double champs is really stall the division. You know what I mean? So I'm happy the lightweight division can move on again. I'm going to go Jack. I think Jack has that X factor. I think he has the gut, the grit, the determination to fight the takedowns, to fight the ground, the takedown attacks that Islam is going to go for. And I think in a striking fight, straight up, Jack is better. I think he wins in the hands. Yeah. I think Jack's got the better game to strike over 5 rounds than Islam does as well, especially if Islam is trying to go for takedowns during the fight. I think, and this is people sleep on Jack's grappling game. They sleep on his jiu-jitsu. I don't think Islam is going to be as gun-ho with the takedowns as everybody believes, because Jack has that level of offense off his back.
Yeah.
I do think Islam has got the kick superiority. And if Jack doesn't address that, which he hasn't in a lot of his fights, the kicks, he's going to get kicked a lot, okay? Islam likes throwing kicks. He used that very well against Volk as well. I think that's going to be a game plan of Islam, is try and wear him down with those kicks, take a takedown when they see him, but I can see him really going heavy in the kicks. External factors aside as well, Jack has nothing to lose.
No, he doesn't.
You know what I mean? As well. And I think Islam's got everything to lose. He's the hottest prospect right now in MMA.
Yeah.
Sean Brady shared his own perspective, saying he selfishly wants Islam to win so he can face him one day in a legacy fight. Still, he admitted Jack is being overlooked and could pull off the upset. For me personally, I want Islam to win because I'd love to test my grappling against his. But if I had to pick, I think Jack has a real shot. He's the underdog, but he's got the tools to shock people.
Selfishly, for me, I would want Islam to win because I want to fight Islam as for a legacy thing. And I think I can beat Islam. I think I can beat anybody in the world. And I want to grapple. I want my grappling to go against his grappling and see who's better. I really would love for that to play out. But if I had to pick, and I know Jack would be the underdog, I would pick Jack.
Carlos Prates and Henry Cejudo also weighed in. Prates admitted he doubted Jack after his injury layoff, but was blown away by how much he's improved. Cejudo, on the other hand, emphasized that Islam is a different level with his top control wrestling, something Jack has never faced before.
I was thinking Jack Della Maddalena would lose. He got injured and I was like almost 2 years without fight.
Yeah.
And then he come to different level, bro. He was like gonna be a bored fight by points and things like that. But bro, what he did was really good work. He grew up a lot.
Yeah, but
he become a different level.
Yeah, but Islam is a different animal. And if there's one thing that I could say in that fight, Islam Makhachev, he gets on top of you.
Yeah.
He's a blanket, bro. The top control that Islam has in comparison to Belal is completely different.
Alexander Volkanovski praised Jack's growth, saying his win over Belal was the perfect preparation for facing Islam. He argued that Jack's confidence in his takedown defense will be at an all-time high going into this fight.
Islam Makhachev is going to be fighting Jack Della Maddalena. How do you think those two match up?
I think Jack's fight against Belal was a perfect fight for leading into that. Just purely, you take a lot out of stop and takedowns, because again, there's every fighter's still going to have little doubts that are going to creep in. I'm sure Jack was going through that, being like, all right, worried about, what if he takes me down and all that. But the fact that he was able to stop it and feel so comfortable, I guarantee you he's leveled up again. His confidence in his takedowns has just went up significantly leading into this fight. I think his confidence is going to be at a whole nother level. So through camp, I guarantee you, if he's back in training right now, people trying to take him down are going to find it almost impossible. Only the top guys are going to have a chance of taking him down, and they're going to have a very hard time even holding him down.
Israel Adesanya was even more confident, outright predicting Jack would finish Islam. He said Islam won't be able to handle Jack's scrambles and will get caught once the fight resets to the feet.
Della versus Islam. Della is going to get it done. Islam would feel like he bit off more than he could chew once he gets in there with him, because his scrambles are crazy, and I feel he's going to knock him out. I just think he's not going to be able to hang with him on the scrambles, or when he gets back up, I really think he's going to get him, and I can't wait till that happens.
Luke Rockhold called it a thrilling matchup between two of his favorite fighters, but leaned toward Islam's lifelong grappling background as the deciding factor, while noting JDM's size could pose problems.
Do you see him beating JDM to win that welterweight title?
It's a tough fight. That's a very tough fight. It's going to be interesting. I think those are my three favorite fighters in the UFC right now. You go Islam, Topuria, and JDM. He's fun to watch. So, that's going to be a great fight. He's no slouch at wrestling, but you have a guy that's wrestled his whole life and grappled his whole life versus JDM, who's kind of he's secondary on that, but, you never know. He's a bigger guy. So, we'll see how Islam, how he bulks up and how he looks. He looks a lot bigger than what I remember. I used to train with him forever. So, he's definitely grown. We'll see how he carries the weight.
Belal Muhammad himself believes Islam's discipline and game plan will win out, while Yoel Ramiro called the matchup a true 50-50 fight, highlighting JDM's power and size as real threats to Islam.
How do you think Islam versus JDM goes down?
Honestly, I think Islam probably take it down. Islam's wrestling really good. Even with me, I really commit to it. I took it down. Their team's so good at hacking at game plan and sticking to it.
You said that you kind of abandoned the game plan a little. You think if you got a rematch, you would change the game plan a bit?
No, honestly, I think I won three rounds, but you have to go out there and make it more clear. When you get into the cage and you're fighting, right? You get into that, all right, I feel like striking. Let's keep going. I was doing well with it. Let's keep going. If your coach is trying to get you to focus on the game plan again, it's like, nah, man, I'm doing well with it. You're thinking you're doing better than you are. Every fight you gain something from it, right? That's when I gained something from it.
So what do you think of this epic clash between JDM and Islam at UFC 322? Share your predictions in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like and subscribe and check out our other videos for more fight content.